Hey, what's up, everyone? So I just finished an interview with Alfredo Mancuso, who is doing some pretty incredible things. And the purpose why I interviewed him was to try to start a movement as to how to help students, how to help parents, how to help teachers, even, um, understand how we can get someone to actually be successful later on in life, and some of the key ingredients to helping someone like a struggling student or someone that's dealing with different things in their lives. And I'm hoping to collect more interviews like this to get more information out there for people who are interested in that, young people, again, parents, teachers, whoever. Hope you guys like this interview, and maybe we can get more just like them. All right, so here I am with Alfredo Mancuso,
What's happening?
CEO of OSS
CFO.
CFO.
Well, actually, COO of OSS, CFO of the come up, CEO as well now, I
All
guess.
right, I'm gonna have to.
Just because people start saying like, I remember I met this girl at a party one time. She's like, "Oh, I'm a CFO of a company." I was like, "Oh, I'm a CFO of my company," and she's like, "Oh, what accolades do you have?" And I was like, I started the company with my friend, kind of thing. And she was like, "Well, I went to these schools," and she was like, it was like a braggadocious thing to me.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want that, but on the internet, people are very specific as to what they want to talk about or what your career is. So I just want to make sure we clarify for the internet.
And we'll decipher all of that later.
Cool.
So I understand. Look, man, you're you're a professional BMX street rider.
Mhm.
You're an entrepreneur,
Questionably.
innovator, amongst many other things. So right now, just give me a little update as to where you're at right now.
So we had a store in downtown LA since 2013, roughly. And this Christmas Eve, my friend and I were test driving this Ferrari. It was a 458 that we have at our car shop. So we have a car shop called European Union, so we specialize in European automobiles.
It's your brothers, right? Johnny Mancuso.
Johnny Mancuso, my little
Right.
brother, he and I co-own it. And we specialize in performance, different kind of like issues that happen with computer software. So we can basically diagnose a car, get it back and running pretty quickly. My brother's really smart when it comes to that kind of stuff. His managerial skills are a little questionable, but hey, that's where I come in and kind of like
Right.
give my expertise in that field. So one of our customers basically buys exotics and then he rents them out and he basically gets his money back within 6 months off the exotic, and the rest is all profit. The thing is, with high-end vehicles like that, after certain mileage, they have issues. So that's where we come in, take care of it, and we're not the Ferrari price. We're a lot cheaper.
Right.
So, we offer a good service. But on that end, he lets us drive the cars around.
Nice.
So, rolling around in a Ferrari.
I bet, yeah.
Not bad. So I rode, have a friend named Casey, came and visited me for Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had dinner with my mom. Johnny was at work. He worked until like midnight that night, and he came home after I had left. We go to my girlfriend's house at the time, and we're having like a little white elephant, so exchange of gifts. And she's always like, "You're always on your phone," and she thinks I'm texting girls or something.
Right,
It's
right.
like literally checking emails,
It's a lot
stocks,
of
the
work.
website, a lot of things that and every once in a while, somebody will pop off, send a weird snap. Hey, not my fault.
It wasn't me.
Right? Yeah, caught me banging. But so I put my phone away 20 minutes. Literally, I grabbed my phone, 70 text messages, 25 missed calls. I was like, of course. I was like, put it down for a minute. This is what
Right.
happens. So what happened was somebody broke into our store. So it's like 11:30 at night. We haven't even done the gift exchange yet. So I was like, hey, can we do the gift exchange? I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
We get in the Ferrari, we take off after the gift exchange. She's texting me thinking that I'm going to a club to
Right.
get bottle service. So that was the beginning of the end. Let's just say she's no longer in the picture.
Uh,
We get to the store. It turns out a homeless man had thrown a rock through our window, busted in, grabbed our cash register, and boogied.
right.
He got to the corner, fell, broke the iPad, broke the cash register, got apprehended by the law. Done. They called me, they told me, they explained everything, and the first thing I thought was, is the cat alright? Because, things, belongings, you can get replaced, but a cat that's been part of our brand for the last, 10 years.
This is Fat Tony, right?
Fat Tony, yeah, big 18.5 cat.
Nice.
I have a whole video called A Day in the Life of Tony, and like I weighed him and everything. Like, actually that day he was like 19.5. He's on a little diet now.
How many followers does he have now?
31,000.
31,000.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Wow.
So people love cats on the internet,
I bet.
Anyhow, the police were like, hey, we have the guy. What do you want to do? And I was like, man, it's Christmas Eve. Obviously, he must be in a weird place in life. So I was like, I don't want to press charges. Just drop it. I'll figure it out in the morning. Well, Christmas Day, nobody's coming to freaking fix your window. And if they are, they're charging you $500 to put a bit of cardboard.
Right.
So my friend Casey and I would just kind of rearrange some displays, put it up. You guys can see this video on my YouTube channel, by the way. And we blocked it off that way. And then, waited till the next day, finally the day after Christmas, so 2 days of that, so I had to drive back and forth, make sure nobody was trying to break in.
Right.
Thankfully, nothing really did happen. So we got the window replaced, but that was a catalyst for me. Like, that was the moment that I realized, like, I felt like personally attacked. I felt like there's no decency. I was like, man, like, nobody cares. On Christmas Day, they'll smash your window and not care. And lo and behold, I called my insurance. I was like, hey, yo, this happens, whatever, you guys gonna help me cover it? They're like, yeah, sure, like, you press charges, right? And I was like,
oh.
They're like, sorry, can't do anything for you. So I had to, bite the bullet kind of thing, pay for it out of pocket. And I was like, all right, well, I was like, I'm the glasses always half full kind of guy. Like, I always look at the optimistic side. And that Monday, or it was like a Tuesday, I got a letter from our manager at our old store, and they were like, hey, we're bumping up your rent by $1,000. I was like,
that's crazy.
Holy crap. I was like, all right.
After you get broken into.
They had already alluded to the fact that they're going to bump up our rates, and I had already been negotiating with them, and I negotiated a lower rate. They rescinded that offer, and they're like, no, we're actually going to charge you more. You guys are doing good. And I was like, well, okay. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Melrose. I'm going to check it out. We've always wanted to come here, and I'm a very big worrywart, and I don't like businesses with overhead. So, like, we've always had YouTube channels, websites, stuff like that with no overhead. All of a sudden, having a store, we have stock, we have employees, we have
insurance.
We have a ton of shirts, equipment, and stuff like that. So, like, I'm always very weary when it comes to that. So I was like, hey, rule of thumb, you should be making at least 6 times what you're paying in rent.
Right.
Something like that. And obviously this place is 5 times more expensive than what we were at previously. So I was pretty nervous, but we came out here, we negotiated some things, and then we got some good opportunities, signed a longer lease, so that enables the price to come down a little bit. But we ended up with this place, and now that's made a world of difference because the connections that we made here, the different kind of clientele, having a nice store, like, all that stuff is very impactful. And we are a brand, so you have to put forth what you want people to perceive of your brand. So if you put out that you're successful, then successful people are going to want to come at you. So now I'm like getting sponsored by PBR, Weed Maps. We're doing collaborations with big channels, and like we just dropped yesterday a video where it's like a skateboarder and a BMX rider riding together, which is very rare if you know the two communities. So all in all, like, and it's only been 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
So a lot of cool opportunities, but we had to come from the struggle from, like, downtown LA, Skid Row, and this is that. And that's where I guess we can kind of lead into my background, where I'm literally down the street from here, because I always say to my interviews, I'm like, Central is a block that's a few blocks down from our store. I grew up in South Central, so south of here, but in probably one of the most crazy gangbang communities ever.
Really? And I gotta tell you the story of how I first encountered you. You probably don't remember. So we were just doing the math, and we're talking like 20 years ago, late 90s. I was coaching flag football for San Miguel with Mario Fernandez, and you were this little 5th grader who was, on the team. And I remember you distinctly saying, "Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
Put me in, coach."
I remember that too.
You wanted to play with the big boys.
Yeah.
From early on, right? And you stood out that way always. As you developed, as we started winning games, you were a big part of that. Your athletic ability. This is what I distinctly remember. And for all those all those kids that are out there, who have these abilities, Alfredo didn't stop. Alfredo didn't stop. After practice, he was on the corner with Jesse and Raul, right?
And
they were
Alex.
also, and Alex.
Yeah.
No, Alex, I'm sorry. Raul is Alex's brother.
Right.
Anyway, you guys were out there after practice, grinding it out on the curbs, learning your tricks. And I've heard your stories of how you didn't have YouTube to look at those straight magazines.
What I will tell you,
out.
what we did have was, I grew up on ESPN. Well, not even ESPN, because we couldn't afford that. But it was like, whatever, Fox 11, and then Channel 7, Channel 9, all the channels had sports at the time.
Right.
And I just remember watching like the one-off when they did have the ESPN guys talking during those shows, and it was like work ethic. You know, you have to bang it out. You have to watch all these things and like become a student of whatever it was. And I was a huge football fan, huge basketball fan, huge soccer fan. I loved all those disciplines. And one thing I remember very distinctly is that when I watched videos of people playing soccer, I never knew that you can record something and then edit things. I always thought that you record it and you put it straight online. So when I saw soccer players or bike riders or skateboarders, in my head I was like, dude, they're so good, because like literally somebody tells them do that trick and they do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it wasn't first try.
Right.
So when I started doing any sport, I wanted it to be first try. So when I grabbed the ball and I told a girl like, yo, check me out, and I shoot a free throw, I want that to go in every time. So then I had to read about like Kobe Bryant and people like that. That was like, you know, the rule of thumb is 10,000 hours. In order to be great at something, you have to put in 10,000 hours or 10,000 repetitions of it, you know, which for a lot of things are hours. So you know, like soccer was one of the first things I really got, you know, because I'm Argentinian, it's like in my blood. So, and I was pretty damn good.
And I'm pretty sure you would have made it too.
I honestly, if I didn't blow out my ligament, because I was already playing for AYSO and I was already like getting scouted, and I had to play a game that was going to be the training game for like the US like baby team, the 17 and under division. And I remember going, and then for some reason the coach didn't put me in, or some weird thing happened where I didn't get to play, and I was pretty bummed. And that's when the moment I was like, man, I'm just gonna try this bike riding thing that I remember me and my friend saw on TV. We saw this guy Dave Mira. He was super awesome. We all like got hyped on Dave Mira. Alex bought the Dave Mira bike. I could not afford a Dave Mira bike. You know, I mean, literally we pulled together our money. We had like $150 between my mom, me, and my brother, and we were like, well, we're not gonna be able to afford much, you know. But we figured it out. eBay. That's where I kind of started learning about eBay, and I was like 13-year-old kid. I took my mom's credit card. I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. And keep in mind, not credit card, a debit card. And my mom probably had like $40 on it. You know what I mean? Like to this day, my mom only has like $30 in her bank account. You know, like it's kind of crazy. But you know, like I learned pretty quickly in life that, you know, and this kind of jumps a little forward ahead, but when my dad died, the world didn't care. Like people in my immediate circle cared, but the world didn't stop. I remember going to the hospital and like my dad was, you know, had already passed away, but then the next day it was like school. And like, yeah, people cared, but there was like, well, I got to do my homework, you know, and it seems like a cold reality, but at the same time, it made me stronger for what I am today. You know, like as much as it sucks, that's the pivotal point in life, is that something kind of dramatic has to happen for you to like really reinvigorate or kind of like reinvent yourself and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go harder. And since I was 13 to this day, I haven't looked back. I've had a job.
I've been a witness to it. And let me tell you that a lot of people don't understand that aside from living in a neighborhood like Watts, and you talked about the gangs, literally the neighborhood where we grew up is surrounded by at least 5 different gangs, right? And they beef it, you know, at different times, constantly.
Do you remember the guy named Stryker?
Probably not. He was probably
this
younger
dude.
guy.
Yeah, but he would come to the football practices and he would pick on me every time. Like he would talk shit to me, and then he would take one of our bikes to go do his drunk runs or whatever. But he was pretty good at a bike. I remember we set up a ramp one time, and like he jumped on it and he went pretty far. And you know, one thing I learned about it is like, now my friends say I'm a bit of a bully because I'm good at like teasing people. But that came from you guys, like you and Pete and people that used to call me Tina.
Tina was our favorite name, man.
And the thing was that,
which, by the way, Tina, we gotta explain that. It was Peter's nickname for you because the only thing he could connect you to was the play, Don't Cry For Me, Argentina. Right?
Yeah.
And he would say, hey, don't cry for me, Argentina. And then it just kind of stuck, Argentina. And then they shortened it to Tina. Which I actually like the name Argentina. Matter of fact, Pete's the one that gave me my nickname too. So, you know, So, but going back to the neighborhood and the fact that you had to deal with these knuckleheads.
But man, that's where it's coming from, is that I remember he hated me for some reason. I think it's because of my skin color. Because I was I was really light skinned. So like they were like, they used to call me white out and they used to hate on me. And I just wanted his acceptance, and I was like, dude, you're really good on a bike. Like he can jump the ramp, and I was like, dude, that's badass. And then he took my bike.
And then he still owes your bike. I mean, all right, well,
I don't know if he's alive or not.
I'll check for you, see if he still has it somewhere in someone's backyard.
But it wasn't like one of my good bikes. It was like, I know. We used to go to the swap meets and like piece together like old chrome bikes. And yeah, he used to take them, and then I remember like I used to be so intimidated by him because like, you know, he's a gangbanger and he's like bigger, and then. At that age too, like I got pretty good with girls already. Like I figured out how to talk to girls like at a really young age, and we were both talking to the same girl. This girl named Ruby that lived across the street from the store, and or from the school. And I remember he used to talk to her, and then when he used to leave, I was like, why are you talking to that guy? You know, he has no
Right.
value. Like, and this is at a young age. Like, I must have been 11 or 12. Like, you know. Another thing I told my friends is like, I used to get Saturday detention, not because I was a bad kid, but because I used to talk so damn much. Which, lo and behold, obviously this interview's pretty long. We haven't even got into like age 11. But I remember getting Saturday detention. There was a girl I liked named Jeanette Nunez, which she was Victor Nunez's cousin.
Oh yeah.
And you're a Nunez. I don't know if there's any relation.
No,
with
we
that.
weren't. We weren't.
Well, I kind of had like a crush on her. So what I did was, and I'm really good at replicating people's writing. So I copied a note that another girl had sent her, and I was like, "Yo, this guy named Alfredo, I think he has a crush on you." And I left it in her desk, and then she got it, and then I intentionally got detention the next weekend, and I wrote back to the other girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at that. You were making moves back then.
Yeah,
you know,
Dude, that story I remember to this day. I'm like, I can't believe that panned out.
Right.
And then I ended up getting a peck from her, and I was like, hell yeah. And then I was like, I'm gonna move it. Move on.
All right. So, I don't know if we can talk about this, but my understanding is that when your dad passed, you were actually in class in San Miguel.
Well, not really. So, and I can talk freely, like you know, I've dealt with my demons kind of thing. But it was Miss. At the time, her name was Miss Kelly, but I think she ended up getting married, and then they changed her name to something else.
Okay.
And she was my 7th grade math teacher, and I remember she like looked at the corner because my house was like adjacent to the school,
right?
And she saw an ambulance pull up, and she's like, "Hey, you know, like something happened in your house." And like we're in a private school in a pretty sketchy community, so they're not supposed to let you leave. But then they're like, "Hey, this is kind of like important."
Right.
So I think her name was Miss Gloria, the secretary. She was like, yeah, we'll let you go. So I ran over, and I remember that's like one of the most vivid memories, like running and seeing the ambulance door shut as my dad was like panicking to breathe. And my mom was like over him, like looking at us, and then they left to the hospital and they didn't come back ever.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I remember my mom was always very, you know, vigilant with us. She would always make sure that we were safe and not, you know, doing stuff. And at the time at San Miguel, they had these crazy bungalows that they had dropped off. That was like the dumbest idea I think that ever happened, because these bungalows just became a playground for gangs, you know, like, and sex and drugs and stuff like that. And I remember Johnny was kind of like playing in them, and I was like, hey, something happened to Dad. And he was too young to kind of like really know, but at the time he kind of like had a vibe of like, oh, maybe something is seriously happening. And